The more I think about this, the more I like the analogy to life that this provides. A couple videos back, I made a video about how you can sort of look at life as a game where you have quests. Like you have a quest list and you have tasks on those quest lists, and there are certain tasks that you have to do in order to progress the storyline. And if you don't do those tasks, then your storyline is not going to progress. You're basically going to be in the same spot that you are right now in 5 years, right? Whatever. That was a couple videos back, so go and watch that one before you continue watching this one. But I want you to imagine for a second that you're playing a game. You probably played a game before, but imagine that, take any third-person or first-person type of game, right, where you're controlling a player. And imagine if you're trying to make the character do something, right, with your controls, your keyboard or your controller, that there are certain things that the character is not going to want to do. They're just not going to do it. They're going to resist, like you press left on the controller and the character does nothing. Or goes to the right, or forward, or whatever, jumps instead, right? Okay, first you're going to be like, oh, what the heck is wrong with my controller? There's something wrong here. But then when you realize it's not the controller, there's something else going on, then you think, oh, this is a shitty game. I'm going to bring it back. I can't even control the player, right? So let's take an example just to kind of drill the point home a little bit. But if any of you have played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, one of the very first things that you have to do as your character, the character you play as Link, is the main character of the game, right? The first thing that you got to do is after he wakes up and gets out of bed, you have to maneuver him through his room to exit through his front door. Okay? So imagine like you're trying to get him through the door and you're pressing all the right buttons, it seems, and Link's just not doing it. He's like, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go out there. It sounds scary. What if I don't make it? What if I die or something? And no matter what you do, you just can't get Link out of bed. And it maybe takes you have to go through, I don't know, a couple days in real life in order for him to muster up the courage to get out the door. Right? Imagine that. And then when you're out the door, you have to go and find the sword, you have to go buy a shield, you have to collect money to buy the shield. Imagine if you're trying to do all those things and all that Link wants to do is hang out with his buddy that's throwing the rocks on the ground. And that's it. He just wants to stand there and talk with him. And nothing else. Like you're trying to get him, hey, come on, go, move it. We got to go buy this stuff. We got to go collect the items and prepare for our adventure. And Link's like, no, I don't want to. I'm just going to hang out here. And basically you never leave the town, and that's the game. If you're playing that game, you'd be so frustrated at that game because you can't do what it is that you want to do. All right? Now you got to relate this back to the point that I made in the other video. There are certain things that you know that you need to do. You have a very strong feeling, and they keep coming back into your mind, into your whatever, into your reality. And there's something that reminds you that, hey, you should do this. It might be like having a difficult conversation with somebody. It might be getting a new job. It might be moving somewhere else. It might be this or that. Whatever it is. It might be starting to make videos on YouTube. I don't know. And the longer you wait to do that, that action or that thing that you feel like you should be doing is your player trying to push buttons on their controller and all that kind of stuff in order to get you to do that thing. But you're resisting. The mistake that a lot of people make is identifying with their own body. We think that we are our bodies, but we're not our bodies. Our bodies essentially function as machines, and we are a spirit that is occupying the body. Much in the same way that when you start driving a car, right, you get into your car, you start driving the car around. The car doesn't go anywhere without you in there. But also, you're not the car. Like, you don't get to your destination and then stay in the car because, I can't leave my car. And when people ask you, what do? You say, I'm a car. That's not how that works. But the bodies are the same thing. Except we have kind of forgotten, or it's not like common knowledge anymore, much like a lot of financial stuff. People always say, it's not taught in schools and that kind of thing. Well, of course, this is not going to be taught in schools because this is like more closer to the ultimate reality. But we misidentify that we are our bodies. We misidentify that our thoughts are our own and that fears are real. So the reason that Link is not going to continue to the next step in his epic adventure that he's about to go on, maybe he's afraid of learning the truth about himself. Maybe he's afraid of what his friends will think of him. Maybe he's afraid of death along the way. Those are the same things that you're afraid of. I mean, not the same things, but they're the same, like, fears that you have. Like, let's say that the thing that you want to do is, start making YouTube videos, for example. Your fear of, like, what if I say something controversial and my future employer sees it, or my friends see it, and they think this or that about me, right? That's the same exact thing. You're just believing that thing. You're keeping your storyline from progressing. So I really like this analogy of games, and I think it's going to be continuing to develop further, right? I'm not going to develop it. It's not me that's doing the development, but I'm just kind of giving you the message as it goes along, right? So yeah, I think that's about it. Imagine playing a game like that where the character has a mind of its own and it has its own fears and it's not going to do what you ask it to do, right? That's what's going on with us. We have a spirit that's like controlling us, right? And the spirit wants us to do certain things, and we resist them because it doesn't feel good, or we're afraid, or whatever. And as long as we keep doing that, we're not going to progress our storyline. It's just not going to work. So that's it. That should wrap this up.